Greetings YouTube and welcome back to my sketchbooks. So first off we have a pole arm which has a bunch of blades pointing in all directions. So it's a boar spear, but it's a boar spear with some kind of ancillary options. It may work, I'm not sure, but it's somewhat cool looking. Here we have a great club, a wooden club with a bird theme, and this would probably be stone or steel in there just for a little added impact. And that isn't actually too bad. I don't think I did a bad job on that one. Again, I don't do good at organics, but I also, I think I pulled that one off. Now here we have an elven boarding axe. So we have a big sweeping curvy blade, shaft, come down, and it comes to a small point. And this was all about flowing lines, curves, and I wanted to give it an elven naval vibe. I don't know if I succeeded, but I quite like it. Here we have another battle staff. So this end is a very kind of a no-nonsense spear, and this end is a hollow metal mace head. So it's going to be able to give you both blunt and a piercing attack. Kind of something that like dwarves might use. Here we have a one-handed sword, and this is actually a design I think is quite practical. Here we have a winged, kind of a Valkyrie spearhead kind of thing going on there. I can see that on a magic item or something like that, and I think it would be quite functional. Here we have a heavy dwarven spear. This is an all-metal spear, so it's got a big head, hollow shaft all the way down, and a small counterweight down here. And it's definitely designed for going after big, heavy monsters in dwarven settlements. Now, this one is a one-handed hand axe, rather, and I really like the way this looked. The curves and the cutouts and all this in here, and the pommel and everything. I think I did a good job on that one. I think I really like the aesthetics on that. Here we have a spear with his kind of a bladed wings here, so it could be functioned. So it's going to cause very grievous wounds. In a creature designed probably for, you know, monster hunting and going after very heavy game. Here we have an idea for a halberd. I tried to pare down what the halberd was into its very basic form. So an axe blade here, a piercing, and a hook. And the hook is too thin. This and this I think work, but this is too thin. I should have made that probably 50% wider than it is. And I still could have gotten that in that space and had it look good. I don't know why I didn't do it. I'm not quite sure why the diameter of this here is thinner, but it is. But not too bad. Now here we have my version of a Khopesh, and I kind of like the way that came out. Here we have a toothed war club, a bladed war club. So it's kind of an axe club vibe here. So it's a big heavy wooden structure with blade set in it. Here we have, this is an interesting design. This is a double mace. So you have two mace heads, probably hollow, that you can then unscrew and it becomes a giant flail. And again, to me, this just screams anime or manga, exalted, you know, completely over the top kind of stuff. But I really like this idea. This thing becomes this huge, humongous flail. I kind of really like that idea. And tubular steel with grips, and obviously that's where the chain goes when it's not being used. I thought that was an awesome design. I really liked it. I think I executed it very well. Here we have another battle staff. So you have a curvy blade on this end, then you have a Y-shaped blade on this end, so sort of reminiscent of the frog crotch arrow from Japan. Here we have a weird battle axe, and not too happy with the way this one came out. I mean, I know where I was going, but that sticks out too far. The blade that should only come about that far in. That's not too bad. The point isn't proportioned right. Yeah. Here we have a very simple hand axe, just to the point, blade, spike, kind of a tomahawk design. I think it would work without a problem. Here we have a very weird kind of a glaive, hooked glaive with a heavy shaft, so almost orky-like, I think, on that one. And here we have something with decidedly machete-like, a very straightforward design. This is probably all metal. It's got pierced handles and a little diamond vibe going on the end. It's something on my table, which I don't want on my table. So here we have a big, heavy toothed axe, and it was kind of silly. It's almost, I don't know, Lockabar axe thing with just the tooth on it. I don't know. If I'd taken that, had the teeth on, I think I'd have been a whole lot better off. Here we have, again, a bamboo shaft with a wakizashi blade on it. So I was kind of going for turning a wakizashi into a naginata. So kind of like maybe a field expedient modification, something like that. And I think I did a good job on giving the bamboo kind of an organic look. Here we have something which is blatantly silly. It is a dwarven double-ended hammer. Yep, that's kind of silly, folks, but I like the idea. Why can't dwarves have silly things? Now here we have something which I thought was quite intriguing. It's a double-ended sword, but it's a double-ended sword that is nothing but piercing. So this is a diamond cross-section in both ends. And again, I try to have the third proportions for two-handed, double-ended swords. And I think I did a good job with this. The style on this would be very interesting. Here we have a very curvy, heavy, a large knife or small short sword. And I think that came kind of interestingly. Here we have something that just screams orc, but it's not well executed. Okay, I know what I was trying here, and I don't think I got it. I don't think I got it at all. But you know, that's it. Nothing ever works every time. Now this is a design I actually quite like. It's a double-ended weapon. It makes me think of a fantasy China kind of a thing going on there. And on my webpage, on my DeviantArt page, almost all of the weapons have names. I don't remember what the names are. I think I gave a funky name to this one. I don't remember what it was. Here we have a piercing sword with kind of a winged vibe going on there. The pommel is horrible. Here we have a really nice Persian design. Now that works. That would be, I mean, I've seen knives shaped like this made by Bill Morin, so that would work. And here we have a very curvy kind of a glaive type blade for a polearm with two outrigger axe blades, and almost works. I think the proportions are off by just a smidge, but I think it would still function if you needed to. Now here's something I don't do often. This is armor. I did a chest piece which is made purely out of wood, and again this is something that like would be reinforced with an ironwood spell in like a D&D setting, so you would have it and you would function, or you could use it as a practice armor in a real world setting, just so someone gets used to the having armor on their person. Don't think I did a bad job on that. I really don't. I think I did pretty good on that. Here we have a very stripped down sword, which has kind of a science fiction vibe, in my opinion. The absolute basic, kind of like the Chinese, a science fiction version of a Chinese Tai Chi sword. Here we have a kind of a weird axe, 2 points in the back, which I kind of like the idea of something getting squeezed in there and sliced up, and the axe blade. And the axe blade's a little bit big. I think I should have brought the axe blade in a little further, a little closer. That's just me. Here we have another battle staff, and this is kind of taken off on some Chinese designs of things. So you've got a circular blade with points here, and then you've got these kind of pendulum design down here. And this is, again, a two-ended battle staff. I really like this design. This is a polearm, so you're looking at a polearm version of a sickle, and I just think I nailed this. To my mind, I got those two serrations just the way I wanted them. I was always very happy with this one. And here we have another battle staff. This one with too curvy, based on a sculpting tool for clay. I saw this and I'm like, hey, I could turn that into a weapon. And I did. So you got, again, kind of the double-ended sword and getting the 1/3 proportions, more or less. Here we have another weird science fiction style freaky thing. So you get this big heavy head with serrations with teeth on it, and a long shaft and a counterweight. And this is a cross-section of, it's an oval shape, so you understand what the head looks like. It's all right. It's interesting. Now here we have the idea of taking an axe and a chakram and making an axe out of it. And I've actually seen seen something similar to that in the real world. Here we have another hand blade, chopping and piercing built in. Here we have a one-handed sword. Interesting, I had a lot of sketches on this, so it's kind of a harkening back to my earlier things. Well, one-handed sword, and I think this is or a machete, and I think that really does work. That would be a very functional design. And here we have a double-bitted battle axe that kind of has an all-metal vibe to it. The blades are too big, but other than that, I think I did a good job on it.